Emergency PSA. Emergency PSA. The ADP is broken right now. It's currently broken. We got Cooper Rush at 24. We got Kyler Murray at 5. We got Brandon Ayuk at 14. Get in those BRs and soak up that sweet, sweet EV right now. And then thank the Badge Bros later. These are the hot tips you come here for when you're ready at the top of the show. But more importantly, we got a very special guest today. He is now safe from the hurricane. He was housing some friends last week, couldn't be with us, but he's here. The BBM2 champ, all-around good guy, clearly housing his friends during a little storm, or big storm. You know him, Liam Murphy. He has got his own YouTube stuff going on. He's doing DFS over there. He's doing picks. His unit total's off the charts right now by my count. He's been printing cash on his YouTube channel. So give him a follow. The chess master, maybe not grandmaster, but he's pretty good at chess. And the all-around sun runner, Mr. Liam Murphy. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, guys. How we doing?
Great to have you, brother. Great to have you. I'm glad we finally have somebody else. You know, I feel a little bad that I'm the only one ever on stream with the Underdog Championship ring, so I'm glad that we finally get another ring holder on the show.
Wow, that was low.
That was just yikes.
Man, I almost ruined a $150 keyboard with this coffee right here, man. Come on.
I was waiting for that. I was holding that in.
That's good. Yo, do you guys want to clink rings across the screen? Is that what you do?
There's no way.
We have a separate actually Twitter DM amongst all the ring holders, you know.
Yeah, we've been chopping up for a minute.
We chime in, we put our rings in.
It's like the Power, Captain Planet. It's like the Power Rangers showing their matches.
Us, James, Eagles, you know, like all of us ring holders.
Oh, just the
sweatiest.
I had to ask for my ring. I had to request it because the ring came. It was revealed for the playoff contest, so
yeah,
I was like, "Hey, can you guys get me a ring?" They're like, "Yes."
I suppose
they're on the back end and they're going, "Can you believe this fucking guy? We gave him $1,001,000. He wants a ring too."
$1,000,001.
Our biggest expense of the year, and this guy wants a ring.
That's so good, man. Liam, just overarching, man, how's your season been going so far? Have the DFS streets been profitable? I saw that Bills onslaught that you chopped. That was a nice one. What else? Have you been playing these BRs at all?
I would say I've been getting killed in the DFS streets. I've had a weird start to the NFL season. I've had like 3 weddings, my birthday, my girlfriend's birthday, so all on weekends. So I got another wedding this weekend, but looking forward to normalcy returning soon here for my schedule. I haven't fired too many BRs because of that, but I do want to get more into it because it's a fun contest. I think it's a winnable contest. You're not facing optimizers in an industry that's been alive for a long time, and I think there's some things you can do to profit.
That's great, man. It's amazing how popular you become after you become a millionaire, huh? All these wedding invites, right?
all these weddings.
Yeah, I was like, hey, man, I wasn't sure if we're still friends, but all right, I'll be there.
A lot of wedding registry links getting sent your way now.
Yeah. That's
funny.
That's good. You think these games are beatable in general? Like, let's just talk about an approach to them. Like, I mean, if you haven't been doing them at mass yet, how has your strategy been with just like a couple entries and stuff to beat these games?
Yeah, I would say, and I think about this for half point PPR too, is like tight end and quarterback is kind of where you can get unique, and you should be getting unique. You know, like tight end, you need touchdowns. So probably the tight ends are usually like when Andrews and Kelsey are on the slate, they're probably undervalued. And then when you're punting off tight end, take like any tight end that is not drafted in most drafts. So like pick off some Logan Thomases, some whatever, because, you know, because this guy falls in the end zone twice, you're the only one holding this tight end, and it's a high variance position as is.
Yeah, so you're talking about fading that middle tier of tight end, basically, where it's like if we get that elite's most likely undervalued relative to the player pool, or we can just take something completely unique, right?
Yeah, like if Higbee is being drafted in 100% of drafts, and you know Logan Thomas is being drafted in 1%, you know, like right. Or
give me the Logan
Dawson Knox or whoever, you know.
Yeah.
that's probably how I would think about that.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a really good shout. Last week though, the market kind of caught up in a big way where there was no Kelsey on the slate and it was just Andrews, and it basically thrust him into a first round pick in every single draft.
And I thought that was bad. Like, there's like some teams that I do not want to do bringbacks with, right? Like,
okay.
And the Bills is a team in DFS too. I'm just building onslaughts because when you have an elite offense and an elite D, they don't need a team to push them, right? This is not like the Lions where you can have bringbacks often and profit. But, you know, like teams like the Bills, teams like the Bucks, when they're facing like bad teams, you don't always need a bringback because they're going to just score anyways. Offenses early in the season, I think, especially like teams like the Bills, teams like the Bucks, when they have new pieces, they want to like get those pieces going, right? So like they want to, especially when they've had some like off games. So they like want to run up score. They're not going to like take off the brakes, even if they're like blowing out Pitt or Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I like finding those teams. I think the Chiefs are like another type of team, like just teams that when they get up, they don't like pump the brakes. Like they're just out here just going like scorched earth. Like I like finding teams like that like one, like you don't really have to worry about the game script too much. And two, like you said, not having to stress about a bring back, because that to me, I think can be a limiting factor. I think some people just gravitate toward having a bring back, even if it's like a shitty game environment. Like you can have like one, like don't be afraid to just have one-off pieces. But yeah, I'm in full lockstep with you with that Bills thought.
Yeah, I like that. With the Bills, just because we're on the topic, what do you see? Like, I think the easy take is Isaiah McKenzie steps into that full-time slot role with Crowder breaking his foot or breaking his ankle, something like that, where he's gone for a bit. Do you have any other thoughts to add to that, Liam, or is that just kind of the take for now?
Well, I think the Bills have been a weird team that a lot of people are like missing the context as someone that watches them every Sunday. Like Gabe Davis, I mean, it was a terrible DFS play for me to jam him last week where his practice log went like he like re-aggravated the injury. And
it was limited DNP limited. So like
that should have been like right there. Like, okay, I can't play this guy even at 3%, but I mean, he's still on the field the whole time. So
right.
Like, you know, I think he could get there. Against the Ravens, they had a bunch of like weird turnovers in the first quarter. So like, that's why they had to like chase from behind. Against the Dolphins, that game was played in like 105-degree heat. And that was really...
Yeah, and they're missing their whole offensive line because of it and rotational wide receivers.
It was weird. It was like Stephon Diggs cramped, Josh Allen's hand cramped. I think McKenzie, my take on the Bills was against man defense, you want to be playing McKenzie. So I was sprinkling him against the Dolphins and the Ravens. So like you want to kind of like know what teams play zone and what teams play man. Because he's fast as fuck, right? So you want to be jamming him there. And then the question to the Bills is like, is Josh Allen taking this like wait and see offense where he's more like checking it down because Gabe Davis is limited or because they're facing more cover 2, or is that just by design? I think Dawson Knox has been banged up too. I'm still a believer in him long term. And I do think Khalil Shakir is an interesting.
I was about to ask you about Khalil Shakir. I was really curious.
Like, I think he's actually good. And like Crowder doesn't, I think Crowder's being phased out anyways, right? Like I think he was just there as like a backstop and against zone, but he wasn't a long-term piece for them, I don't think.
And you think Shakir steps into that? Sorry, Nez. Do you think Shakir steps into that Kumaro role over time too? Like, because we saw with Gabe Davis out, it was Kumaro who then all of a sudden was like 85% snaps on the outside, and then Shakir kind of took a back seat. But I could see that being flipped in the same capacity as McKenzie was going to flip Crowder anyways, right? Do you see that similarly?
Yeah, I mean, with Kumaro, the Bills wanted to play him a lot more than Davis. Like, clearly they wanted Davis to get right, and they couldn't when he has a high ankle sprain. And then I think Khalil Shakir can be cross-trained, right? Like, he can win on the outside, and he can be slot. I mean, they just have McKenzie on such a cheap contract that I think Shakir will take outside. You know, plus, like, if Davis and Diggs goes down, who is going to be the outside? It has to be Shakir. And then this guy, Isaiah Hodgins, is interesting if he gets to play because I draft him in best ball every year, just a sprinkle. No one else has him.
That's the first time I heard his name on a screen.
I'm sure it is. But like Isaiah Hodgins was supposed to be good. He doesn't separate. He's big. He's kind of like a Gabe Davis clone in that way. But
now he's on my radar.
If he's active, you want to sprinkle him in a little bit.
Love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have 3% this week.
Where did he play? Wasn't he? Was it Oregon? Oregon State?
Yes, Oregon State. I think.
I was trying to think.
Okay. Numi knows his shit. I like
Numi
it.
does. That's his neck of the woods.
I'm trying to look up Kumaro right now. Is he actually doubtful this week?
Or he has like a high. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks, I think.
Ooh, that's interesting.
He has a high ankle sprain. And that's what. Yeah, I mean, I think Shakir, and we kind of saw this with like Isaiah, Matt Collins, where it's like chalk DFS plays are going to be like 1% owned probably in BR contests,
right?
Where because like you don't need salary savers for BR. People just play the names. Yeah. But you can
actually here's a thought about the salary thing that Pete brought up yesterday on the show. He says playing BR was like having 65K in salary, where everybody will just, if you have 65K, everybody's buying the 10K guys. And I was thinking about that last night and I was like, holy shit, like that's pretty sharp point, right? Like everyone's jamming the same guys. If we had 65K on DraftKings, like nobody's really touching the 3K guys unless they have to, right?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, we should be getting off the board either with our game stacks or whatever it is, like just, you're going to lose some of the times like that. But when you do win, Nez, did you ship with like a Goff stack last week or something?
I did. Yeah. It was pretty sick. It was Goff, Henry, Jacobs. And then I had Reynolds and Hawkinson. And then my last wideout was CD Lamb. So yeah, it was weird. That was in the 12 man. It was awesome. That felt good to draft too at the time. I was kind of going off like vibes in the $5 drafts because it's like 6 people, a bunch of studs. You don't really I wasn't really like putting like a ton of thought to that. I was just trying to get different combos. But in the 12 mans, I was drafting those on Sunday after we had like more information, and Hawkinson was like not being steamed at all. He was still like the 4th or 5th tight end off the board. And so that I actually went into those drafts. Like I wanted Hawkinson and I wanted Goff and I wanted Reynolds. And I honestly just saw them as good floors. I wasn't looking for ceiling from them. And then I was hoping to get the ceiling in Jacobs as well. And I was hoping to get the ceiling game from Henry. And then like hopefully get there. And then it turned out that, hey, my floor guys turned out to be the ceiling guys. But yeah, that was the that was the old team there. That was fun.
Smash team right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That's what sucks. Is it would have won in the 50K.
I
drafted
wonder,
it in the 12 man.
Does Underdog release the ownership percentages after because well, I think they could because like I'm curious like what Goff was drafted at, and he was probably like 0%. Like
even in the 12 mans, I think it was really low.
I'd be pushing for that in general. Like even like just us sweating like the BBM3 entries right now is like they got that top 500 leaderboard or whatever, and then they periodically throw out tweets. Like they threw out tweets of like Kenny Pickens, how many times he was drafted.
I the day the contest closed, I tweeted at Hayden Winks because last year for BBM2, something I really liked was the ownership percentage of players and in the playoffs, and he did it each round. And Hayden released it. So if you go to Hayden's Twitter,
there you go.
He has the ownership percentages of every player in BBM3.
Oh shit! See, I didn't even see that.
That's out there. It's on the
Hayden doing the Lord's work. Let's go.
Yeah. I did take a peek at that. Go ahead, Numi.
To your Goff question, I know Hacker in the Spike Week Discord, who does a lot of good stuff, he posted the ownership percentages for like for basically that team, but it was Goff was 6% of drafts, about 6%. Hawkinson was about 50. Penny was 2.5. I don't know if you even had him, but it's just I think they were just talking the Lions Seahawks game. But yeah, Gino was 2.5, Reynolds 2.5, Metcalf around 25% is what he got from doing his calculations. So yeah, Goff only in about 6% of drafts.
Shout out Hacker for scraping all that, because that's a lot. I mean, obviously, like once you script and like you just say click the next tab, but good for him for doing that for us.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what he did, right? Like, is he just web scraping that, and he just like, as long as you have one entry into the contest, you can web scrape all 56K entries. I wonder what the fastest way to go about doing it is.
Yeah,
because
we might have to bring him on.
I've messed around.
that's
honestly, like I've messed around with it, and like I'm not a good enough coder to figure it out, right? And I'm pretty sure it's a pretty fucking simple problem. I'm just not. I'm not on that level, right?
Right.
It's just manual labor intensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe he asked and they helped him out too. I have no idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, he does all the overlay stuff for Spike Weekly. Have you messed around with any of the overlays? Like, were you using an overlay when you were drafting this summer?
No.
Yeah. So like
they
basically.
We had a big chat about this, but I'm kind of against the overlays and whatnot for a couple reasons. I mean, like long term, I do not want to be drafting against a computer, right? Yeah. Like I want to be drafting against people, so I think it's like a slippery slope. So I was, and I don't need it, like I know the matchups. I don't really care what my ownership percentages of or my combos are. Like,
we know.
I can guess. I can guess the combos, right? Like I know that most of my Steph Diggs teams have Mark Andrews or whatnot. So like I just can reach for an AJ Brown, and now I have a unique combo. Like that's not that hard to do.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Yeah, it's interesting because we did talk about that over the summer on the pod with Mark there about like just the slippery slope and comparing it to poker, because you're big in the poker stuff too. But just it presents a really gray area when you have software that's only available to few. And we saw it in poker for years where it was just the haves versus the have-nots until sites were like, okay, we got to start policing this. And then it was like they did away with it entirely, or they built it into their own platform. So I think it'd be pretty cool of Underdog to build in some variation of this into their platform and expand their own tools from the inside. For now,
I don't know. That's hard. That's hard too, because it's like you can't be holding the hand of the, like the consumer.
That's true. That's true. But as my thought process there, Liam, is as the consumer becomes smarter and certain pieces of knowledge become standardized, it just becomes presented to them. So like if we use poker, for example, like we would give a stat like a VPIP, like voluntarily put in play in position, right? Like voluntary put in position. And that's every time a percentage that's allocated for when you put money into the pot. It's a very, very standard. And it was like level 1 in like 2010 that this was like the number one statistic to quantify a player. Then 8 years later, people who are good aren't even looking at it anymore because they're just like, yeah, everyone has a standardized range from a certain position. We don't even have to throw that stat out the window. It doesn't matter. But then every site now incorporates it like for the players, right? Like if you're playing on GG Poker, it's just right there for every single player. And VPIP, and even the recreations, VPIP, right? So as the game progresses over time and gets like the community gets sharper, maybe some of these things become standardized and we can just have week 17 correlations on the site, or we can just have, whatever that next metric may be. I don't know, just thinking out loud, right?
Just to end it, my biggest thing with it is like how it currently is. I have no problems with it, right? Like as it currently is, it's a fun tool for hardos to get more in the weeds. But I think what people don't realize is what you don't want is a bunch of like stock fund manager bros who just have big bankrolls to literally just click a button and they don't need to do any manual work at all. And now they're getting drafted plus EV teams. And I do not want to be like, that destroys the product, right?
100%.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
And
slippery slope, but straight up.
And it could totally lead to that, where it's like, it would not be hard for me to tell a programmer how to draft similar to me. Right?
You could do that in like a day.
It would
be so easy.
You could use a randomizer of like, okay, I want, when I take Stephon Diggs, maybe you bump up some playoff matchups, or I like X% of the time I want to reach for certain players at the 2-3 turn, and like,
you just randomize standard deviations within ADP, right? and then you trust the efficiency of the market in some regard, but then you have the
Well, you could
randomization
X
of
out
outliers.
players or whatever.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could get exploitative with it for sure. Yeah. Anyways, that kind of pivoted right into what I
a
wanted
little
to ask
segue
you
there.
about. Yeah, a little segue. Because I wanted to ask you what you see for the future of best ball, the future of these BR contests. Do you see yourself getting more involved in like the BR side of things opposed to DFS on a weekly basis, or do you think BFS will always be there?
I mean, if I keep on getting slaughtered in these DFS streets, I might have to. No, I mean, I've been planning on my channel too to like start doing these on probably like Thursday or something. And I think they're fun, like I think it's hard to make a living in zero-sum fields. It just is like if we look at poker, most people who like play poker tournaments are like living off of like name brand and are not buying into the tournaments and probably not winning long run, right? Like they're just getting staked. So I don't think there's that market. Like, I don't think I could just maybe I could sell my action and I could just draft best ball forever. But well,
having that BBM title under your belt might do wonders for you in that regard.
I mean, maybe I could be the first one to like get up on Stake Kings and start doing that. But
yeah, well, the staking notion's really interesting, and so is the professional tandem, like being like a sponsored player affiliated with a site with rake back considerations and kickbacks and entry fees comped and travel circuit associated with these games. Like you can go really far with that idea. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what the future holds, but I find these like, especially the battle royales with like they're 6-man drafts, like. It doesn't take a lot to get really unique and really plus EV. And I think there's like simple things you can do, like always draft 25% of your teams during Monday Night Football or whenever the contest drops. Like Thursday Night Football. Those are probably like some of the most plus EV times to be drafting where people are just firing off whatever.
Yeah. Those times and maybe other windows of times where people like are cramming other contests. So like if someone's cramming right between like for me, for instance, I'll be mass cramming the Thursday Sunday or the Thursday night showdown. So that means I'm not in the lobbies of the weekly one. Well, you should probably be in there, right? You know what I mean? Not you specifically, but just like as a euphemism, right? Like the people should probably be zig when they zag as a simplistic mindset there. The other thing that we talked about yesterday, I want to get your thoughts on, is we talked about kind of how ADP, like when there's no ADP and you can set the ADP and you can get wild to open the slate. But then also once the ADP set, we don't necessarily think it's as sharp as we're giving it credit. We can deviate greatly from it because we have a greater understanding of ownership come Sunday morning. Would you agree with that line of thinking?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, how have you guys been approaching the 6-mans? Have you been coming with the mindset of like a game stack? Have you kind of been letting your first 2 rounds dictate it? Because I see like all quarterbacks were 8 like first round picks when I fired up a draft. Like Josh Allen's 101. I don't think that's wrong necessarily, because you can just jam in 30 points into your lineup, but I don't know about winning the contest.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? Numi, what do you think?
Yeah, I think to your point, like the first 3 weeks, we didn't have quarterbacks anywhere near where they were. So this is kind of new territory. It was kind of last week when all of the star power was off the slate that they kind of got brought up. Now we're kind of seeing the reminiscence of that again with Allen and Hurts. But yeah, so to your point, I've always drafted. I've tried to get home at least we drafted yesterday or Monday on stream, so I didn't get that many. But normally I'm drafting like 10 to 15 right away before ADP even sets or anything like that, because it's all the quarterbacks up at the top. It's all the quarterbacks with like a Cooper Kupp and a Jonathan Taylor's the only person you see on the screen, and then it's just you can if people are drafting quarterbacks in the first round, it's just beautiful.
Right.
So I think in line with that, it's perfect. And how I basically attack these drafts, my biggest thing I've been saying over and over again is I don't care. It was a big debate if we get unique, we're giving earlier in the draft, we're giving the other people in our pod the chance to get super teams, quote unquote super teams. My big thesis was like, it does not matter to me. I will just get different to get different. I always loved, I think I advocated before we were doing the streams, like just to simply in the MLB streets, just bypass the people in the first round and get 2 second rounders. And that's what Pete said yesterday, was just in that round, instead of taking the guy in the second, maybe you take 2 third rounders and you take 2 guys and then you get that guy that's basically 36 ADP. So yeah, I'm always trying to just get different because I'm trying to maximize my chance to first. And when I see these people, my biggest thing I'll always say was when AJ Brown was like in a first round pick, and he is right now, and then Devonta Smith was not. He's 11, but he wasn't being drafted in like week 2. He wasn't being drafted at all.
Yeah, just recency bias through and through, right?
So I use recency bias a lot, and I just I play that game.
Yeah, you can really take advantage of that. These lobbies get heavily shifted by like these last 2 weeks, and before the last like the Ravens Dolphins blow up game, like you could like I was going in a lot in the 6-man lobbies and be like, I want a Lamar Andrews stack. That was like my highest priority. I wanted that, and that was like the nut strategy for the first few weeks, obviously, because that was an insane connection. And now you're very lucky, very fortunate to get a Lamar Andrews anymore or a Diggs Allen anymore. Like that's really hard. But the first place in the 50K this week had Josh Allen, and it was probably his first
naked Josh Allen.
Yeah. And and it was probably,
and you can always do that with Josh because the Bills actually spread the ball around a lot more than people think. Like they target the fullback, they target the backup tight ends. And I think, to your point, you can always start, if you're looking for unique, you can always start your draft with quarterback, wide receiver, and if you're reaching for ADP. So let's say you started Kyler, Marquise, Brown, and they're not 80, like they don't actually go in the first second. You can just start that stack, and then you're going to get unique because you bypass the first 2 rounds.
Yep.
And you can just fill out like that. But
yeah, and then you get rid of that bias in your head where you don't have to worry about, if you're somebody that's affected by by the actual thought of passing them over, like, oh geez, I want to get unique, but I'm staring at the first round guys in the face. Like then you just like get that out of the way, say screw it, let's actually get that unique stack right off the jump. Yeah. And then it forces you to get unique. If you're somebody who, like myself in these 6-mans, I do have trouble like passing over the chalk. I'm like, shit, like do I really want that?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't feel great if I'm giving people like Diggs, Cooper, Kupp starts because I'm doing that. But
yeah,
so like you kind of have to like if 3 people, and this is the same thing I say with best ball. If 3 people have the mindset that this is what I'm going to do, then it's like, okay, well then you are allowing people to build super teams. And I mean, but the way you have to think about it is you only need to ship like once a year to be winning. So yeah, maybe you are going to lose most weeks because you're giving other people super teams, but some of those weeks, those first rounders are going to bomb, and then hopefully you have the pieces behind them.
Yep. That's something that Mark kind of harped on with us. Mark Garcia there. He was like, to be profitable in these contests, like we have to understand the fact that like a 10% ROI is insane. Like that's a beautiful thing in DFS. That's a beautiful thing here. And we're literally playing these like as if we're playing GPPs or single entries on DK, where it's like, if you bink one, you've made your year because of the exponential pay structure where it's like you're turning $5 into 50K, right? Well, like you can max enter for the rest of the year and you've had a year still, right? So yeah, I really like that line of thinking and not being like so concentrated on my bottom line week over week and more like, hey, did I give myself an opportunity to win this week, right? Like I think that's 2 different mindsets. Let's jump into like slate specific for this week. We've talked a lot of like macro overview stuff, but first things first, we have to address the elephant in the room here, the quad box. The quad box is here, Clay. The quad box is here. And, just in case Liam didn't see it yesterday, just to, reset the room a little bit. We just thoughts and prayers to Numi. Thoughts. Oh, yeah, Willis, Numi's in there.
Yeah, where's Numi? I thought he was a regular co-host.
Yeah.
We don't have the 4-person layouts yet. Our guy on Fiverr, we fired him. He's gone. He's out of here.
I gave him a 2-star review. Like I iced him and then put a rush order on another one, and it's like we got no overlays for 4 and stuff.
Newbie's not here because they couldn't sacrifice the overlays. So if you're ranking the importance of people to this operation, you have John, you have Nez, you have the overlays, and then you have Newbie. At least he got in the draft.
Oh my god! Newbie
knows how important he is in this operation.
Oh,
he's on next.
Newbie, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
Hey, you got to sacrifice a little bit to make a clip go viral. You know what I mean?
We're so sorry. But Newbie's back. We got, no doubt. Actually, we got weird with it, and we took a Miami stack in the front end, and we took Tyrique Hill at 2. And then double stacked Miami. So we got weird with it at least. We gave ourselves a chance, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think that Jets game is interesting because my take is like Sauce Gardner has been locking down ones, but Tyreek is not the same body type as a Jamar Chase, etc. So I'm curious what they're going to do. Are they going to play Sauce on Waddle? And like, aren't you worried, bros? I am worried about Sauce Gardner. You know, when he's playing,
Sauce might be Sauce Island, man. Like he might be that dude.
And that was my take with Deontay. Is like the question is, was Deontay's lack of targets a product of Pickett or was it Sauce Gardner? And I think most people thought it was Pickett, but I think it was Sauce.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with that one.
Yeah, because I think Deontay's like an uber talented receiver, and I think that Pickett, like people, I think might be surprised how much he gets. Like he earns. Everyone talks about targets are earned. I'm like one of the biggest Deontay Johnson fans that you can find. Big fan of him, and I'm curious what you think. Before, I mean, we don't have to completely focus on this one, the Steelers Bills game, but since you're big Bills fan and they're kind of a little banged up, like do you think that there's shootout potential here at all? Like,
no, I think the Bills are going to roll them, but
yeah, I'm with you, but I can't help it. Like
on my pick show, I took Bills minus 14. So
yeah.
That's bold. I like it.
And I mean, because if you think in the Bills mindset, they have a new offensive coordinator, right? So if they have the chance to run up points, like I know Tomlin and McDermott were on the same team, so like maybe they're friends, and I don't know if that weighs into it. But I think it's usually a little bit more competitive. And so if the Bills have a chance to get rolling here and get their offense right after 2 kind of questionable games, I think they're going to take that.
Yeah, I kind of like that take there, especially with the injuries and like the lack of production from Gabe Davis the last 2 weeks. And then now they're going to be kind of like, hey, we got to test the waters on some of these outside guys. If there's no Kumaro, if there's no Crowder, it's kind of like, well, we're going to keep passing.
Hodgins' name is, what site is this? Your Roto Grinders? Isaiah Hodgins is in there, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There we go. 3K flat. 3K flat. Remember when running back was 3K? It's like Stone Min.
Yeah, that screwed me up when that changed.
That was back in the day. That was
Do you think I don't know. Is Pickett good for the Steelers offense?
Better for the Steelers offense. I don't know if he's good for the Steelers offense, but he's better because
I was drafting Pickett in best ball and Mitch, and I didn't know if that was right, but it feels good now.
So was I. I thought that he was going to earn the start earlier than Mitch did, just based on the draft capital. But I'm glad he's there now, and I'm glad that he's like willing to run a lot more. Hopefully that, we want if you're a Steelers fan or someone with Steelers assets, like you hope that turns into like a big enough threat that the defenses like have to like respect it. And then that opens things up for the offense a little bit. But I'm not like bullish by any means, but I think it's better. And I think it'll be better than last year. And I think it'll be better than what we've seen from Mitch. And obviously that's not like asking the goddamn world because he was terrible.
It could be bad for the skill pieces though, with him running more.
Yeah, that's a factor. If he sucks at throwing but now he's like Trey Lance, he's the Trey Lance floor, like and everybody else suffers.
Okay, he's not fucking Trey Lance rushing upside.
Hey man, he runs a lot. He runs
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah, I watched a little bit at Pitt. I don't know a ton about him. Yo, okay. Did anyone see the Underdog tweet this morning when they were looking at the numbers of Geno Smith and Drew Lock times drafted in there?
Yeah.
Did anyone see this tweet? You saw it already?
I did not.
Okay, if you did not, whoever did not see this tweet, how many percentage of drafts do you think Kenny Pickett was drafted in BBM3? I'll
10%.
give you. Okay.
Like of all the
Newman,
of all the drafts.
Of all the drafts that took place in BBM3, did you see this part of the tweet, Liam?
I saw the answer. Yeah.
Okay.
20.
Okay, I was shocked to find out it was
Is it lower?
27.9%.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
I was shocked. Like,
yeah, it is pretty
for
high.
Geno Smith was drafted 969 times. Nice. Drew Lock was drafted 926 times. Kenny Pickett was drafted 10,494 times in the BBM3.
Wow.
I was shocked.
Yeah,
Like I thought it was a typo when
you
he
got a
said
sharp ass field now, man. What's going on?
Holy, I was like 27.9%. I thought maybe 2.79. Maybe we didn't move the decimal point one more. Like, what's going on here, right?
Yeah, that surprises me.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah. Here, look, Eric coming in here. He took 7 of his 150s, have Kenny Pickett. I mean,
Damn.
I think I'm
Yeah.
like 6% or something.
6%?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay, so now let's talk about, I'm very curious about those builds. Were those 3 quarterback builds or were they like stud
Probably
and
not.
scrub?
Yeah, it's probably stud and
Interesting.
scrub.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like it. It was something I didn't really, I think I mixed in a little Malik Willis and I mixed in a little Kenny Pickett, but nowhere, I was not even at the field. I was not at 6%. Like I was not.
Yeah,
I mean,
I didn't want to harp on it too much more, but I do wish I had more Willis. That's like my biggest regret is like not throwing in more Malik Willis, I think.
Yeah.
I got a lot more on DK, and like all my DK teams are being propped up by like Tyler Conklin and Curtis Samuel.
As we all expected.
Tyler Conklin.
I have big bags on those
Vikings
guys
hero.
That's
in
awesome.
the 555 DK streets.
That's awesome.
Okay. Numi was about the Conklin call the week he got into the end zone. Numi was calling that one as a one-off tight end or as a bring-back tight end. I can't remember who they played that week. It was like week 2 or week 3.
It was like week 1 or 2. I think.
Oh, 1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, it was like the first couple of weeks, and that was before all of a sudden it was like week 4, and everyone's like, "Hey, look, he's tight end 3." Not that it's a big drop off for the next guy. But.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, the funny thing about Sauce, I just will say, is I did not know that he had 19 targets. He's only allowed 9 catches for 101 yards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
like,
crazy.
He could
That's
straight up be
that's
that
nuts.
dude, man. Like
Yeah.
we could be
He's
talking
faced
about him
some
at the
good
level.
wideouts.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
nuts.
it's a very interesting point that Liam brought up there. That's very cool. Let's just talk macro of this slate. Is there a game environment that you guys find overarching, like intriguing, that the field isn't gravitating towards? Because we know from, I can bring up ADP for a second here, but we know from ADP that the majority of the ownership is consolidating around that Philly and Arizona game. Obviously Buffalo is always going to be mixed in, and the outside of the elite pieces and whatnot, is there another game environment which we like?
You got to jam Brady off of the divorce.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Yup,
some
the
hand in the
revenge.
dirt. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying he's going into
Revenge
that
versus
era.
Giselle. Revenge game versus Giselle.
So I do the betting show on my channel, and the Bucks have actually faced a lot of tough defenses to start the year.
Yeah.
And my friend said that he doesn't think it's a coincidence they released this news on the eve of them facing the Falcons and not, someone like the Chiefs, someone like the Cowboys D, which I thought that was pretty sharp.
Man, that's actually so sick that we're that deep in the weeds that we're like, they're staggering divorce release news so that we can get a shootout weekend from him.
All right, I found this article I was looking for. I posted in the private chat of the percent drafted.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, this will be fun. So this is this year's percent drafted of The BBM3.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
A couple of the guys I got at real low percentages. I got a Jeff Driscoll share, which he is Taysom Hill light. He is the Texans tight end quarterback backup. So I got like a Kelsey, Taysom Hill, Jeff Driscoll team I feel good about. The other guy I feel pretty good about is, and maybe will be relevant this week, is the Colts running back 3, Deon Jackson. I took a couple times late in the process. Now, the only question with him is I didn't know if he was pure special teams. And there's a search bar, by the way, if you wanted to just search some players. So.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. I was like clicking this filter tab over here. Yo, how about this little fucking magnifying glass? Like every website on the history of the planet Earth staring me right in the face.
And you can see some, like if you scroll to the bottom, there's some. There is one Bailey Zappi team in the contest. I hope that guy ships.
Yeah, wow. I saw that yesterday.
I have a ton of him.
Someone tweeted it. I was like, holy smokes.
I had a ton of him in the Superflex, like pre-draft Bailey Zappi. Like all those teams are dead. They're like Malik Willis, Bailey Zappi.
Yeah.
Darrington Evans, a couple people drafted him.
LaShawn McCoy just for the lulls, baby. I love it.
Hey, he gets signed late in the process. Chris Carson, rip.
Chris Carson was an interesting one that there's only one share. Was that one share of Chris Carson that you just saw?
It was low. I don't.
How much Will Fuller is there?
Nelson Aguilar, 10%.
Will Fuller's a fun one to look up. Let's guess. 70? 70? Okay.
Sorry.
I was going to go
80.
Oh, you looked?
85. Oh, you already looked.
Oh, you already looked.
That was the answer.
Dulcich at 13%.
They don't even give it. They don't even give it to us.
That's all Kareem.
Oh, he's a
Williams. Trubisky was 14%. I'm shocked he was well below. That's a sharp field.
That's what I'm saying. Like I was a little surprised that like people didn't bite more at Trubisky being named the starter. That was shocking to me. And then Jeff Wilson, I thought he'd be like 50%. He's at 38% for BBM. I've got.
Sorry, who was that you just said?
Jeff Wilson.
Okay. Yeah, he kind of got steamed late in the process where he became part of that top 215 ADP that we were all, kind of looking at the back end of the draft. And I think his name got clicked more than when like the TDP news wasn't as good and Sermon got cut. I think that propped him up because early he was definitely not drafted, right?
Right. Yeah. I had a lot of TDP as well. I kind of took a fair share of that entire backfield. What's that at? Is that 5?
That's Desmond Ritter at 5.76%.
Yeah, we need him bad.
Philip Lindsay, if he's the guy.
Wow. Yeah, Philip Lindsay was getting some steam this week too. They were talking about like how if and when he's activated and if JT can't go, like he will play was like That was the worry about the Deon Jackson and is because like maybe they just signed a guy off the street. Right. Jalen Warren, I
don't know if you guys are. Go ahead.
I know. I like Jalen Warren a lot, and I feel good about. I only got on him late, but and like the way I think about percent drafted is like, okay, yeah, there's only 13% Jalen Warren, but of that 13%, 99% is all late ADPs. Like on all late drafts, so it's like they're all pretty similar, probably, but still, 13%.
Yeah, I love.
You mean similar in terms of the roster constructions, or similar because he was drafted late, or similar because late in the draft window he was drafted?
Like the ADPs change over time, so like if we look at the Jeff Wilson teams, for example, too, most of those teams were drafted late August.
So time frame in which they were drafted. Okay.
Which means that like the teams are pretty similar, but if you had taken some Jeff Wilsons in May, now you have much more unique Jeff Wilson built teams, which could be relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a little boots on the ground. I just sent in the private chat there. I don't know if anybody else is a Philip Lindsay stan like I am, but he just posted yesterday a picture of him, no caption, in his Colts uni with like some sweet little mood lighting. Like that dude is ready to go.
Well, the Colts did that, right? Like the Colts made that picture happen.
Yeah. Right?
Like, this is not
They
like
were
you
ready
can't
for
take
this. They were ready for this, man. Look at that. How do you not take
No
Philip Lindsay
caption.
this week? No
Yo, look at this.
caption.
Look, this first comment is just all snowflakes. That's what I foresee in my fucking DFS lineup right there.
Don't scroll too far. You'll see me as like a fanboy, like, you got this, Phil. Like, let's go.
I never knew who the people on Instagram commenting on pro athletes shit were until I met
Now we
Nels.
know. Now we know.
Me and Numi.
That's incredible. Yeah, Newbie just all Justin Jefferson's posts, and he's just like, "Congrats, good luck this weekend, buddy."
I don't even use Instagram.
Yeah,
Twitter. I just have that cesspool that I just go to, and I comment on him there. No, just kidding.
Oh man, this is this picture reminds me of the Jamal Williams one that was trending around where Levitan wrote the "Now all the women in Detroit are pregnant." Did you see this tweet?
Yeah.
When he did the dance.
Oh,
What do you
yeah.
guys say? Let's that ADP stuff's cool. I think we should sift through that some more at another point in time. Any other game environment that's jumping off to anyone? Floor open.
I like Browns Chargers, but I think the field does as well. But I'm like very confident. I like this game as like floor pieces, and that's kind of like how I like to build these lineups. Like, yeah, they're chalk, but I think that they offer like good floors, and I'll probably mix up my exposure to this game with like other like unique pieces, just because I think Chubb is like an awesome pick here. Really like I like all the skill position players in this. I think that is a chance to go over.
I would add to that Keenan Allen is free, and why not, right? Like, we'll take a little dart on Keenan Allen and Kareem Hunt. Same narrative as last weekend. This team gets out trailing, and it's not a Chubb game, it's a Hunt game, and Hunt's got a 36 ADP. Like, okay, I'll take some chances on the talent of Kareem Hunt in a pass catching role in a trailing game script when the Chargers get up 14-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, anything to add there, Liam?
Just some other gross games that I think you can rip some like Dalvin Cook, Darnell Mooney if you're trying to get
the Bears have the worst rushing defense in the league and are allowing 183 yards per game. Dalvin Cook is about to eat.
Maybe that's why they run the ball so much, because they're just killing them in practice. And
the Vikings, if we remember, have been beat deep by Christian Watson. He dropped it. They've been beat deep by Quez Watkins twice. They've been beat by Chris Olave. And the only thing Justin Fields can really do is throw the ball deep. And so, like, if it's a Darnell Mooney week, it's gross because the Bears are running this like 1920s offense. But I could see Darnell Mooney getting like 101 or 102 or whatever.
Yeah,
that's
it's either
a good
that
shout.
I like that,
or
he's shut out, one of the two, because that Bears offense is gonna. It's
I like the Vikings D too.
Yeah, I don't actually. I'm scared of our defense, so it's either we figure it out. And the thing is, I think people underestimate how big of a home field advantage US Bank Stadium is. Like I mean, the decibel levels in there cause people, and a rookie or a second-year quarterback, that dude they're gonna feast on him. I really tell you,
jacked up like Newbie talking Vikings and saying we.
Yeah, no, hey, me
the decimal levels, because I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I push those decimals.
We have that little circle where it's like me, Liam, and then that that Vikings trade where it's like, okay, you got Stefan from us, but we got JJ, so it's whatever. It's like we both kind of
Venn diagram. It's a Venn diagram where you guys meet in the middle.
Yeah, I don't love taking Bears pass game pieces, but if there's a week for Darnell Mooney,
it could be definitely it. Yeah.
I mean, nobody else is going to have him, even though they're running the wing tee over in Chicago. But it's going to be unique.
Our secondary is garbage.
The Army Bears, the Navy Bears.
Just like always target pass catchers that get open deep down the field against the Vikings. Is like,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
And Harrison Smith got hurt on the last play of the game last week, right? That's what forced the timeout. What gave Will Lux the field goal attempt. I don't see a practice report right now, but he's not hurt. Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, because that would that secondary is, pretty dusty as is, and you take Harrison Smith out of that, look out.
Yeah, you take Harrison Smith out, and it's the worst.
Washington kind of in a bit of a get right spot too, where like we do not want to be playing Carson Wentz pieces against good defenses and like the total's real low, but it's a more narrow target tree with only Terry and Curtis out there. And so I'm interested in especially Terry, who should be pretty low drafted.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, especially without Dotson, right? Dotson's confirmed out right now. He's doubtful, but
and, I mean that's gonna like hamstrings are tricky. It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
And Logan Thomas, like if his routes are trending up, I'm still a believer in his talent. So
am I.
With the less target competition, maybe Logan Thomas can get there. And you don't need to get crazy there. You just do like Derrick Henry and Terry. Derrick Henry and Logan.
Yep. I love those minis. Yeah. I think I have that mini literally of Logan Thomas and Derrick Henry already.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do have that. Yeah.
Clay in the chat beating the drum on Jags Texans. A couple of interesting things there where Mark was basically telling us the Texans defense was for real and the missed tackles were propping up some of the opposition's numbers against them. And then if they got that kind of in check, they could be better. And then what does Austin Eckler do? He beats the doors off of them last week. And now we're kind of back with this.
Is a little bit better than people think.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also think this Jags D is like people. I think there's two like takeaways from this early NFL season. One is like the overreactions to everything is like off the charts, where like players who are a little slow, people have like given up on them.
Right.
And, like and others who have had like big spikes, they're like, this is clearly what it is.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good line.
Yeah, and I just think this Jags team is a lot better than people think. I think they're going to win that division. And
I like that.
They're going to be in the playoffs. So I would and James Robinson, I think we've just learned is like when they're going to front run, we want to be jamming James Robinson.
Yes.
And we want Zay Jones to play if you're going to roll with Christian Kirk, because he was forced to play more on the outside with Zay Jones ruled out, and that's why Agnew got all that slot work. So you want Zay Jones in if you're going to roll with Kirk, usually.
Yeah, Kirk might have been the guy who wound up with 2 tutties last week if Zay Jones is active, right? Because he lines up in those positions for those little, flank routes at the goal line there. Yeah, no, I like that. I think this week sets up somewhat similarly to last week. I don't think there's the outstanding top, no matter what game environment like we had last week in Bills Ravens, but I think it sets up similarly where a lot of people are gravitating to the same 1 or 2 game environments, and it's going to be up to us to find that Seahawks Lions game of this week. And, maybe we don't go any further than Seahawks Saints right here. We get a free Kamara in the 6th round coming back, perhaps. I don't know. I was reading the tea leaves on the Latavius Murray stuff, but, Olave versus that secondary. Why not?
I love Olave. But my take is that this week is unlike last week in that you should just be jamming Bills and Bucks players, because it's more of a slate where you have like good teams against bad teams. And I'm not like, this is not a big week to me to get crazy with game stacks unless like Arizona is like going to get there in garbage time, I guess. Like I don't know, like because I don't really see a bunch of these games shooting out. I guess the only other one that could do it is Chargers Browns, because that Browns team's a lot better than people know about. But like Seattle, I think we want to be playing Seattle against bad defenses.
Yeah, I don't like Seattle against the Saints, man.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
And is Jameis in? Like, what's going on?
He said he wants to. He said he wants to play.
Of course he does.
I was just looking at it, and it's going to give us a shot. And then
what about MT? Michael Thomas.
I'm assuming MT no, but I haven't seen any practice reports yet.
That's last week. Yeah. All I know is there's that Dennis Allen. I'm seeing like it's downplaying a QB controversy basically for Andy Dalton, Winston. So
the red rifle, baby.
You should start Andy Dalton.
Is Taysom Hill a tight end in these VR contests?
Yeah,
Yes.
man. We talked about that yesterday about a little
Ooh.
late mix of Taysom, especially
Yeah.
now paint the narrative that Latavius Murray is now gone. Kamara doesn't play again, needs another week to get right. Winston doesn't play. And now all of a sudden you have Taysom playing, 11 snaps in the backfield, 3 of them at quarterback, a couple more at running back, that sort
It's
of
weird
thing.
they've not gone to him more. Like there's been some weeks to do it, I thought, but maybe they're saving him with Jameis being a little banged up, but they don't want to be jamming their third quarterback, up the middle.
Yeah.
I
They don't want to
know.
be playing their third quarterback at fullback.
Yeah. But yeah, Philly too. Like Philly could beat up on Arizona.
Right.
I don't understand why the Rams are favorites against the
We
Cowboys.
lost you for a sec, Liam. Is that me?
No, that was just you. I heard him.
Okay, my bad. Sorry.
I don't understand why the Rams are favorites against the Cowboys. Like I think
Yeah.
this
Like the way that the San Francisco defense got in on Stafford with like absolute ease. Like, what do you think is going to happen when you get Micah Parsons in that team?
exactly.
It's-
And
I'm scared of that matchup.
yeah, I mean, like you can play Cooper Kupp every week, but other than that, I don't see. And I guess Tyler Higbee's going to get his 10 targets a game.
Oh my God. Man,
The
how
Stafford
pissed would
narrative.
you be if you were Allen Robinson, right? I mean, Allen Robinson's been really struggling with separation. Like I've seen those metrics where it's like, yeah, he's legit not getting open. But it's also when you just put Allen Robinson on an island by himself and it's just like, hey, Allen, go over there every set, try and beat that guy and you'll be my third read. I mean, I'd be quitting on routes too, right? Like this isn't what I signed here.
So yeah, I mean, this is like a week where I kind of just want like one, because it's a lot of like good teams facing not so good teams in my book. Like
Yeah.
like the Niners, like I think you can jam Debo and Jeff Wilson.
You're not too worried about that Panthers defense?
I just like, yeah, the Panthers D is fine, but if Baker's going to be turning this ball over like 3 times, they could have like,
Yeah.
Great point.
4 extra possessions. Then
I guess the question is more so like worries of CMC versus the Niners defense, I guess would be like the better question in this game.
yeah, like if CMC is getting first downs, okay, I guess they're having the ball, but I don't know, man. This Panthers team is a mess to me.
Oh, it's horrible. Horrible. It's not a
Yeah.
good situation.
Looking
for
at those
us.
screen grabs from the all-22 of DJ Moore just running wide open and throwing his arm up in the air. And then guys are circling him sitting down perfectly in the middle of a zone for like 12 yards and Baker just not even looking at him or missing him every time. Oh man.
He's going to retire before he's 30 just because of his poor QB play. He's just like, I can't do this shit anymore. Like he's going to go like the Megatron route. Like I'm done.
He might go the Brandon Cooks route and be like the guy that gets traded every single year and no matter what, always puts up 1K and is just like, oh yeah, here's DJ Moore. They just start passing him around the league for a 3rd round pick over and over again.
What about the Lions? What is their offense going to look like on Sunday?
Yeah, we've been taking a little Amon-Ra late because he's been free, but we were talking up the fact that there's a week 6 bye looming for them, so maybe they play nobody, Maybe they sit out both Swift and Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Obviously, both running backs are in play from the Patriots.
Yeah.
But I don't really like this Patriots D is better than I thought it was going to be. Is my take, but
Okay.
I don't know. Like the over under is reasonable at 46.5 in that game. One of the higher totals on the
I was
slate.
liking Jamal
Yeah, and-
Williams a lot.
In terms of team totals, the Patriots are the highest team total with basically not one person being drafted.
Wow.
People aren't drafting Damian and Ramondre.
I have a
the
couple of Andre
35.1 and 35.4, and I just went through like the top teams.
Who's 35? Is Damian?
Oh yeah, so they're both 35.1 is Damian Harris, and then 35.4, just 0.3 back, is Ramondre.
I'm
So-
surprised because I think in DFS, Ramondre is going to be the chalk and Damian will be lower owned. is a guess of mine, but
Mhm.
I think you want the guy that can house call against the Lions.
Yeah.
In Damian this week, but
I'm into that. Yeah.
For DFS
Plus,
purposes,
you also, if you go home favorites with an improved defense, and then we get a bunch of pieces of that Lions offense out, it makes a lot of sense to
you guys
have
got
a
the sex spots. You made it.
Oh, baby. This is multiple days in a row with the sex bot.
Wow.
Every day. I don't think I think it's every day since like the last 2 weeks now.
Chat
Not a
69,
big deal.
always welcome
Not a
here.
big deal.
Yeah, chat 6. They really love when we get into this Pat's backfield talk. This is when they get in here.
Pure sex.
But
it's Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that's interesting too. And then like the Saints, like you said, like Olave is the highest person on the Saints with a 27 ADP, and then the next highest is Kamara with 35. So like they're just by going with teams with high team totals off of Vegas totals, like that's another way to just instantly get like unique is just drafting these people that have a good chance of scoring points. So, and they're just not being drafted. So,
yeah, I like that. Liam, we hit an hour there, man. I know you're a busy man. I know your time's money out here. You got time? Want to hop in one, maybe 2 drafts here and call it?
Yeah, let's rip a draft. So do I jump in at the same time? We draft against each other, or do we draft together? What's the
usually we just kind of draft together and talk it through, and then
I wasn't sure because I saw with the Pete draft there was like Numi was in there and
yeah. Poor Numi.
he had to stake his revenge for not being.
Okay, that was a revenge.
I had to get my exposure to the stream somehow.
All right, boys, let's ship this. Was it around 15K each or?
Yeah, there you go.
This is like dealer's choice here. So you since you're the host or you're the guest here, you get like the trump card over like all of us. So
I know. Let's just go. Let's just go from the top down. So like John starts us off with a pick.
Okay.
Then
okay,
you.
sure. Yeah, sure.
And
Let's
Numi
do
to
it.
me.
Let's do it. So Mr. 101 here. What are you thinking, John?
I'm Cooper Kupp guy this week. I just think we've seen it way too many times where his ability to break the slate is more so than anybody else. So I've been taking Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, he's been my 101 as well. I just like no matter what the situation.
Who's your guys two?
For me, probably Josh Allen.
I like Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson's
probably
my 101.
JJ. Probably JJ.
Yeah, I just love Josh Allen's floor against the Steelers. Like the Steelers defense
That's
now
a great point.
Is so mediocre. It's like, and I know it sounds like backwards, like, oh, we're shooting for 50K, like, you want to hit ceiling. Well, Josh Allen obviously has like a 40-point ceiling, but like, I like, just you can bank on him getting you like 25, and you cannot do that with too many people in this contest, and then like find your ceiling elsewhere.
Quarterback, like this 2 years ago for BBM2, that was like a big thesis of mine, is that quarterback was undervalued on a half-point PPR site where it's just the fact that like wide receivers score less percent compared to quarterbacks and half PPR compared to PPR. So, and Josh Allen, you do not need to stack. Like you can just roll with him.
I think that was going to be my next point, especially on a week like today, a week like this week where Josh Allen is going to be spreading it around in general. But this week, if we come to, still a hobbled limited practice Gabe Davis, and we basically can never get Diggs as a stack partner, who's he throwing to? Well, your guess is as good as mine, right?
I think
good too.
Knox I think Knox was on the injury report today. Well, not
he's
practice.
Been banged up for
Kumaro, Knox,
just to start.
and McKenzie limited.
Yeah.
But like Knox had a setback 2 weeks ago, but I think he was fine this game. So I think he's trending up, and you can always stack a tight end with your quarterback. Yep. And it's almost always a plus EV decision because it's a high variance.
That's what I love doing. Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, Nez and Numi on the clock on the turn coming up here, and then we'll give our guest the last two.
Do you guys have a take of what you usually do between wide receiver and running back for the flex?
I usually go 1-1-3-1.
I'm like a 2 RB guy, like more often than not, but I do 1-1. I do 3 wide receiver builds as well, but I like given like this week I'm probably going to do it less, but most weeks I like to do 2 RBs.
I feel like the field probably is doing 3 wide receiver more, and I want to do that too, but that just
Mhm.
makes 2 RB.
I
But
think
you
it's
can
very
just
slate dependent too,
Yeah,
pending
and
like
draft
who's
dependent
available.
too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
who falls
What
to
do you
you in
guys like
certain
here?
ways.
Yeah,
We got,
my turn here.
Yep.
I really like Nick Chubb this week against the Chargers. He's at the tippy top.
Yep.
I like. I'm just a big fan of Nick Chubb. Obviously, he has access to a really high ceiling and pretty good floor as well.
probably
I think
second best O-line in the league.
right, yeah, and I think the Chargers without Bosa like are really susceptible to just like a lot of things from opposing offenses, like with him not being there. So, go ahead, Numi.
You want the Lamb bring back or something else?
Yeah, I was thinking the Lamb bring back, but I was thinking for the stream, do I do something different? Let's just do Lamb.
Okay.
It just makes the most sense. I would do it.
Okay,
all
we'll
the
take
time.
we'll do the lamb bring back there, and then we'll rely on our guest to get us a little more unique at the end here with these next
Love
two.
it.
Let's go next. Let's Liam, you get the next 2 there, and then I'll bookend it, or we'll bookend it.
Okay. Let me see.
Unless you have a. Unless you have
let me see the board again.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, that. I just want to see, so I know who's still available and who got drafted.
So Herbert might go here to the Eckler guy, but yeah, I'm a little like skittish about Cardinals opposing the Eagles just with how inefficient they've been. But if I hope the Cardinals stay this highly drafted, like the Kyler Marquise Brown, like I'm not very interested in that stack at all this week. Despite
it's
like
it's
on
tough
paper.
to love pieces against the Eagles D.
Yeah, like they seem like the real freaking deal.
Yeah, that team looks good. Paul, we addressed this one off the top there, man. But yeah, ADP's been a mess today. So soak up that EV, people. Get in there. Yeah, that's one good note there. I was reading into this too, that Eric brings up that the corners are banged up. I'm not sure like how much that comes into play on Wednesday, but good stuff to
that's good to know.
Put in our toolkit.
Yeah, that way I don't hard fade if there's an actual edge there.
Can I see wide receiver and tight end?
Yes, sir.
Tight end is super flat this week,
Is
and they go
Williams
super late.
Still there, or did he go?
No, he's still there.
Mike Williams is still here, but Herbert just went.
I want Chris Godwin.
Somebody.
Love it.
Godwin, yep.
Like it.
And
his QB is still on the board, I believe.
I think I'm gonna take Goddard.
Okay.
Arizona has just been like a tight end funnel.
Yeah.
Okay.
A sieve.
I mean, it's hard not to take Kittle because like I'm not as down as on Kittle, and it's probably tight end 1, but.
So now I guess the dream scenario is that this guy does not run naked Brady, but he's also a recreational player with no badge who might just go, oh, Brady's the highest ranked quarterback, and take him here.
You want Kittle, which makes sense.
Yeah, Kittle plus CMC and CMC plus Debo is one of my favorite 3-4 or 3-5 mini stacks right now.
I'm trying to scroll, but I realize it's not me.
To see the bottom.
I was like, why can't I see the bottom?
Like here?
Yeah,
can you see it?
Here.
I'm not looking at the stream. Sorry.
No, it's just an overlay. The overlay takes takes just an inch off the bottom of the board.
Numi, can you please leave? Yo, Numi, can you please leave? We gotta get these overlays out of here, please.
Oh, he took TB12.
He rolled Brady, so let's look at QB.
Naked Brady.
Son of a B.
Yeah. We got the
Cooper
back in the staff.
That's the rush daddy for me.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Is there anyone with a rushing floor? Scroll down to QB.
Kenny Pickett for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Is Mariota there? Like, I don't know,
he should be.
Tannehill. Go. Keep going down though. Let's just keep rush in the queue.
Okay.
Yeah,
we got
I think we just roll with
Yeah,
Rush.
Mariota.
Or
Yeah.
or this could be a Justin Fields week. It's gross, but
Yeah, you could do that solo.
I don't.
So
I
yeah,
don't,
Fields a guy you don't mind running solo too. I kind of like the Cooper Rush idea. The
Let's
one
do it.
problem with Rush in my mind right now is when the ADPs went haywire and broke there for a second, that he might get steamed up accidentally because now he has a 24 ADP. So now people start clicking on his name because they think, holy shit, the field's clicking on his name, and they don't
think
realize.
I don't think they.
Yeah,
are.
that's fair. That's fair. You got time for one more, Liam? Or you?
Yeah, let's rip one more.
Okay.
Nice.
Everybody
Cole-
else good? You guys good?
Yeah, Cole
yeah.
Beasley has decided to retire effective immediately.
What?
Not
What?
fucking-
He is ready to be with his family after playing 11 seasons, and it's time to be a full time. He's like, yeah, this gazelle Tom Brady stuff isn't going to end well. I'm out.
Do we think so? Gage is another guy who
I have two JJ Dalvin teams.
Oh, thanks for the least surprising update in the history of our show.
All right, yeah, I'm out.
That
See you,
newbie
boys.
has-
See you, boys.
that newbie has double Viking stack.
So what were you saying about Gage?
Well, Gage is a guy who like people were victory lapping his slow start, and he was banged up, like he was just not practicing.
Yeah, leading
I
up to the
think
season.
I think he's healthy now, and I think how banged up was Julio last game, or is Gage just the 3 there?
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
they
a
could
guy who's like going to be 0% drafted, who you can roll out.
Yeah.
Yeah, big fan
He's
of
a
that
guy.
in this Atlanta matchup. Like you said, I think they can absolutely like light them up in this, and they could be like putting JJ Julio in the works, but in like bubble wrap a little bit because I do like he looks good in that first game. But you
Yeah,
know,
with the
and then-
rushing, we talked about the rushing upside there. There was like, oh man, he's
Yeah,
getting
took a
carries for the
shot
first time in 20
downfield.
years.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Holy shit, I'm sore," and they're like, "Okay, god damn it, like we can't use Julio until we need him." So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe his share just stays low for a minute, and they just try to keep him healthy.
Yeah, Gage was 64% last week, and Julio was 28.
Yeah, that's interesting there. And interesting of note that they were basically trailing the whole game too.
Yeah.
We sticking with cut 101.
Yeah,
You're
you
call
guys
host.
you guys aren't twisting my arm.
I have a
off.
guy.
Well, you can have a guy next round, fella.
Let's jam Darnell Mooney in this one to end.
I love it.
You sick puppy.
Love it.
I
Yeah.
love
Got
it.
JJ. Way to go. Way to go.
This is kind of a fun team. JJ plus Cook. Then he gets the Mike Dubs mini Njoku as the bring back and one off Evans. That's yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna sauce that team. I like it. You know, I might dupe the shit out of that, Clay. Have fun chopping.
I don't know. Is that Naked Herbert? There's
No. He had
No, he had
Mike
Mike
Dub.
Dub.
Mike Dub. I thought that
Yeah.
was okay. There you go. Great team, dude. Congrats.
Yeah,
You
it's a good team.
drafted the nuts.
Have
Yo,
you guys been
congrats on the
following
50.
the cheating scandal in poker that
Dude,
dropped
I have-
recently?
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh, yeah.
anything that's going on with the poker or the chess.
I would
or
love
any
to
of this.
if you could fill us in on some gossip.
I've
Yeah,
been deep in the weeds a little bit.
Please.
Did you
let me
watch?
know.
Were you watching Joey Ingram's streams?
Last night was the first time I started watching it in a while,
Yeah.
and it was crazy. Like they had like Nick Bertucci on, who kind of sounds suspicious, and like I said, sounds like very defensive. And then they had Alan Kessler, the chainsaw, who was just like unhinged with these questions. And the great part about that show is they're just having pure randos call in, and so it's like a
that's
call-in
fun.
show, you know, like it's like, and you don't know what you're gonna
that's
get.
sick.
You're
Yeah.
gonna hit
I'm
some
gonna-
gems. You're gonna hit some weirdos, you know.
I'm
Are
gonna
you able to
DM.
give us
I'm
what
gonna
happened?
DM Joey. I'm gonna
Can
DM
you give us
Joey.
a TLDR on
Yeah, like
the?
what-
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
know
give you a
what
TLDR
happened at
about the 3 cheating scandals after.
Please.
Okay,
please.
let's do the 2 picks first.
Yeah, you guys rip the picks first.
I like Evans,
Okay.
Sure.
but we got to make room for Mooney.
Let's do Evans and then let's do Dalvin Cook.
Is he
Okay.
there? Because if not, then we may need to make room for. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's
I
do
like
that.
that.
Surprised he doesn't have Miles Sanders has an ADP ahead of him.
I
No,
know
yeah,
the
these
ADP is
they
busted
they
up right
flipped because Cook was almost like he was almost first page. You could see him kind of. So that's why I don't like. I'm just sitting here. It's like it's brand new for me. I'm trying
We
to
got
find
room
people
for that Mooney bringback right now.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
he
That's
was,
why. That's when you said Mooney. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Cook gets there on the ground. They have to pass. He gets there. Vikings D doesn't know how to cover anybody and just allows Mooney to go nuts.
Cook was third page for everybody else, but he was on Numi's first page in ADP. Yeah, everybody else
on my first page in ADP, man. Come on. No,
All right, so
give me some gossip. Spill the tea.
Yeah,
Spill
the
tea.
three TLDRs about the 3 cheating scandals. Fish one is easy. There was.
Yeah, we talked about the weighted one yesterday.
Okay, the fish one's easy.
Yep.
The chess one is complicated because the kid definitely cheated online. And then, like if you don't understand chess, it's like kind of confusing, but basically you wouldn't really need, like you could literally just look at a computer engine for one move mid-game, and he's still a very good chess player. So I don't know if he's cheating over the board or if he cheated against Magnus. Like that's gonna come out in the weeds. I think the poker one is interesting because either this, like she's like changed her story 7 times and she gave the money back. And
I don't know anything about this. Who's she? Like I don't know anything.
It's a publicity stunt.
I'll set the scene here. I don't think it's a publicity stunt.
Okay, here make 2 picks first.
Let me see.
Are we going Mooney and Fields or naked Mooney?
Who's quarterback right now?
Yeah, that's what I'm at. Yeah, I don't know if we want Fields here or not because
let me see.
We're the only people that still need
tight end.
We don't need to take quarterback.
Let's grab Kittle and Mooney.
Okay, love it.
Sick.
Is this chess scandal anything? So I saw like Magnus and someone they hopped on like a stream and he made one move or something and then he just left. Is that not the same thing?
That was part of it too. He's like protesting against him, and I don't know. I am a believer that the cheats can happen because we don't fucking know what technology is out there as far as like there's been laughable theories that I guess could be true, like vibrating anal beads in Morse code being communicated. The poker one is
that's just a Friday night for me.
Yeah.
Heyo.
The poker one is this is a streamed environment, so people think it's safe, but perhaps they have access to the stream. And it's like you just kind of have to like watch the hand, but like she called off like $130,000 where maybe
she had the worst blocking card possible in her hand.
She's like staked by Logan Paul's boxing manager or something.
What?
And so it's like it's you just have to kind of like read about it.
Of course, Logan Paul finds his way into this.
Yeah, I don't really know, but like I think she cheated is my.
So she called on an inexplicable call, right? What was she holding? Like
Jack.
Yeah, Jack 4 offsuit
Jack
on 10-9-9, and she called off. She called off 130,000 with with Jack High, but that Jack High actually turned out to be like 60 whatever % of equity.
Is this the same thing that when I came in the stream, you had it pulled up and it was like that the guy was like, is that the guy from Survivor? And you're like, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it's that video.
Garrett,
I've seen it, but I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to comprehend.
Well, so he is like the big name and he usually like has a lot of money. And so like he freaked out and so do we just go Stafford here?
Sure.
Or
yeah, I kind of like going Stafford here because we're unique.
We don't need to go crazier than what we've already done.
Did Brady get taken? Because I'd take Brady over Stafford if he didn't.
Yeah, Brady got taken.
Okay.
Like these are kind of like the 100% owned quarterbacks. Like these
Definitely.
5 just keep going over and over again.
Cool. Let's grab Stafford then.
Let's grab Staff and then let's.
That was a good team. I like that team.
Yeah,
that's fun. I like that one.
Do you want to read those off for our newly minted audio listeners once this pod finally gets posted?
I'm not even bothered to get my audio going. I'm pretty
Yeah. We ended up with 2 Cooper Cup teams. So the first one is Cooper Rush, the often non-talked about Cooper to Cooper combo stack. So we got
Cooper bring back.
Yeah, the Cooper bring back on the Cooper Cup. There we go. We had Cooper Rush, Nick Chubb, Cooper Kupp, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, and Dallas Goedert. So a mini stack with a bring back and then some one-offs we like. And then we had a Stafford, Dalvin Cook, Cooper Kupp, Mike Evans, Darnell Mooney, Kittle. So 2 one-offs we liked there, and then 2
I think I like that team better. Like, I just see so much touchdowns getting caught by that team.
I like that. Okay, let's go back to the poker thing for a second. Let's tie a bow on the poker thing.
Because so basically, she made this ridiculous call, and like the leading theory is, or what I think is leading theory, is that like she's somehow being communicated that her hand is good. Like she will win, but she knows that her hand is jack high. So she's like in this weird spot where it's like, like, how do I call this without looking suspicious?
Yep.
And so she calls and they run it twice, which maybe she only knew she was good the first one and she's free rolling the second card, or maybe she knew both the cards. And so whatever, she scoops both. The guy freaks out. She changes her story like 25 times, which is not that weird.
Okay.
If she is actually a beginner and just got like flustered and like is trying to save face, she's like playing with Phil Ivey. She's playing with Garrett, a big name. Paul's saying I'd recommend the Doug Polk videos. Well, Doug Polk is taking one side, which is like she is cheating.
Okay.
And that it's like, I don't know, it's going to come out in the wash. But my question is like, so Garrett goes backstage with her, right? With one of the producers, Ryan Feldman, and some conversation takes place where from her point of view, she was threatened. And from his point of view, they just talked and like said like, hey, like a lot of people are going to see this. And she freaked out and offered to get the money back. My question is, who's backing Garrett? Does Garrett have some nefarious connections? And he was like, you know, like, I don't think my backers will take kindly to this hand. Like you might, you know, like, I don't know. What are the tax implications of handing over $135,000? Who pays the taxes on that?
Right.
What, you know, like there's a lot that needs to come out.
A lot of moving pieces.
And
like, I've played 100, maybe more hours with Garrett in my life at the Commerce, like playing like 25, 50 or 50, 100 with him. And I've never in my life, like just on a personal level, I've never found him to be intimidating, threatening, or anything like that.
No, I don't think so. I think he's a really stand-up guy, but I think it's very possible he could have snapped. And because this, I mean, like, you know, they kind of talked about on the stream, but like the format of the show kind of is like the rich fish get fed to Garrett and Andy and whatnot. And maybe like she's kind of like going out of her way to play hands with him. And I don't know. I think, and like Garrett's
there's also some weird things associated with her, is like she kind of gives off like these weird trophy wife vibes, and she's kind of trying to become pseudo poker famous. And she like went from like 5K followers on Twitter to like now she's got like 25 or 30K followers, and her husband's a lawyer. And like there's just like all these little like nuances to the story where it's like if you go deeper and deeper down the weeds,
she's soft playing the cowboy hat guy who like that's just like bad. You know, like you can't have that in poker games. That's like against the code to be like checking it down, you know, because you may be observing that and you may look at her and be like, oh, she's just bad, but you don't know that they're actually colluding, and that's why they're checking it down. So you can assume the wrong things.
To articulate that for you guys, like in case you weren't following what that was, it was just like those two players out of like 6 players at the table get in a pot together and they just throw up the white flag and don't play against each other. which then has this weird implication on the entire game dynamic of the rest of the players. It's like, wait, are they playing together? Like, you can't just be friends in a 6-handed game. Like, even like my buddies that we would go, Vegas, LA and play against each other. Like, we weren't taking it easy on one another. We'd go have beers and dinner after, but like, we were still battling for like, it wasn't like go back to the hotel room and like, hey, give me that 10K back, man. Like, that's bullshit. That doesn't exist in poker.
Even that would be more
better
okay to me than like if you wanted to square up with your friend after. Like, it's different than just not trying to beat each other on the felt. And I mean, that's still probably bad etiquette to do.
She even said that the cowboy hat guy was staking her. So
by the way, staking her 150K free roll. Like, so what is going on? Is basically
what video? Is there a certain channel I should watch? That's
there's
an unbiased one. Is there an unbiased?
Watch Joey Ingram. Watch Joey Ingram. He's the
Joe Ingram. Matt Berkey's got a good one where they.
Oh yeah, Berkey. Yeah.
They're doing an analytical. Doug Polk is a little bit more incendiary. He's a little bit more of an incendiary figure. I mean, but like, look, it's probably someone's going to look really bad here. Either her or Garrett or the stream. And I mean, this is a legit business where they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube.
Wow.
They're operated out of a casino.
Damn.
There should be thousands of camera angles. There's questions of like, I think some of the theories were laughable. Like, she had like a vibrating device in her pocket.
Buzzer,
like,
that was good. Yeah.
I mean, she had a vibrating device, could be on her ring. It could be inside her somewhere. It could be in her shoe. Like like maybe you swallow it and it just vibrates
in your lower intestine. You could to me, this scandal is like the best thing to happen to poker since like the Chris Moneymaker days, dude. Like this, I think more people are talking about poker than like in the last like 10, 15 years.
There was another one.
Same with chess.
2 years ago, Mike Postel, and he was basically the buy-in was lower and the stake limits were lower, but he was basically rigging a on-camera game allegedly for a long period of time, and it led to like a.
Like he very clearly cheated. I don't know. What do you think, John? What's your? Because smart people are on both sides.
Yeah, I lean the direction that she cheated. I don't think even being the fishiest player in the history of the world, that a staked player in a game of that magnitude would ever make a call with the worst blocking combination and run it twice. I don't know.
It really depends how rich her backer is, because if her backer is whatever, let's just say is like 500 million in crypto, and he could care less if he lost this money.
That's fair.
And she knows she's like truly on a free roll where
it could go viral if
it will go viral no matter what. Either she made a terrible play and she'll get invited back, or she made a great play, right? Like she's in a no lose spot there. But if her backer is more realistically rich and not giga rich, like I don't know. Anyways, look it up, guys. It's pretty interesting.
If the backer has fuck you money, that's the ultimate like fuck you call, right? Like it's like, because we talked about,
and she had 150K behind, so she would not be out of the game.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know. It's oh god, it just gives me the heaves. I hate talking about poker cheating and all that stuff because it just brings up the whole like GG poker scandal of basically 6 months ago, where man, I was just at the wrong end of losing so much damn money playing tournaments against like these guys that were like Bryn Kennedy fully rigging and cheating games. And, it just gets my blood boiling, that stuff. So I was like, take it. Cause I've been on the other side of it. Like, and I don't know. Yeah. I don't like it.
I love the drama, man. I love mess. I love a good mess. I can't help it. I hate minding my own business. I want to know it all.
And it's also the characters involved too, because like Garrett's like pseudo famous in the poker community as being like this high stakes player and ex survivor, and he's always on the streams. He's always on the live at the bike streams and like stuff like this. It's funny. So if there was like someone internet famous to attack with cheating, it would be to attack this individual.
Well, it would have been Phil Ivey at the same game. Phil Ivey.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, Ivey was sitting to his left. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point.
But Phil Ivey was not really playing hands that much that stream. Like he gets paid to go on those streams. Like that's what. So I don't know. I think we have no fucking clue what type of tech is out there for doing cheating things, and this is why I think it's plausible people are cheating in chess, people are cheating in poker like this, and it's life-changing money to like take hundreds of thousands of dollars that you can't lose. So I don't know if we'll ever know, but she cheated.
I love it. Yeah,
it's a great,
perfect way to cap it off. Yeah. Oh man, now you got me all steamed up about that Brink.
I was watching the Joe Ingram 8-hour stream, part of it last night. I'm gonna finish like the last 30 minutes after this because
I love it. I can't wait for you to flip your narrative when he drops like this big haymaker in the last 30 minutes, and you're like, oh wait,
hopefully. I mean, like they just have like such funny characters called in, like this guy Jersey Joe.
Yeah.
I'm crying. I look up Joe Ingram on YouTube, and in the first video is parentheses calm. Like, is this?
That's what I see on there.
He has to let you know, like, I'm not raging in this.
Yeah,
man, he might just grab himself.
Well, he's been like streaming 24/7, so like,
holy shit.
No one who can watch all that.
Character. Like he was like a sicko poker player who would like. He started by playing poker like in his closet at his parents' house with like a TV monitor on the ground, and he'd be like playing 24 tables, and he'd play for like 100 hours a week.
King.
And then like he goes through like these extremes of then like he goes to Vegas, he becomes like a bit of a pro. He's like then he kind of like wasn't that great, pushes into PLO, becomes like really good at PLO. He's kind of like the godfather of PLO. And then all of a sudden he gets into these content streets and he becomes kind of like the pseudo voice of poker on the internet, but then he'll just disappear for like 3 months at a time.
What's funny is how I found Joey is back in, I think 2015, I graduated college, and he was doing a sweat show for DraftKings for the Sunday Millionaire Maker. So he's doing DFS content, and that's how I found him. And then I saw like the poker overlap.
Because he's boys with like Bales and Jennings, and he did like the Gambling Olympics with like Pete and those guys too. So there's some crossover community-wise. Yeah.
So guys, let us know in the comments. Did she cheat? Is it in the feeds? Drop it down in the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, you're good like that because I never say like or subscribe or any of this shit. I don't even write a bio sometimes. We'll get better. You
guys got me beat on the overlays and all that, so
Yeah,
we got me beat too.
Yo, Newbie, do me a favor, bud. Like let's just get it back.
What?
Drop Newey. I would never do it to you.
Scam off. That's so good.
I'm sorry, what?
That's funny.
Well done. All right. Liam, thank you so much for doing this. You're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, man,
it's a lot of fun. Good
Let's
chat.
ship, guys.
Yeah, let's ship this thing this
weekend.
Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's favorite time of the show, the end.